Welcome to Lucky Stars. I'm Thomas LeBlanc.
And I am Tranna Winter. Lucky Stars is an astropop odyssey where we walk you through the zodiac by roasting all of the biggest stars born under each sun sign.
And today we are diving right into Leo season. Leo season is really one of the highlights of the year. There's so many celebrities born in Leo, and we'll give you all the tea about what makes a good Leo and a bad Leo. Leo is also the sign of US presidents and Hollywood film directors. So many blockbusters have been directed by Leos. Like literally the film industry will not exist without Leos.
Basically what we're trying to tell you is that if you're a Leo and you're not a superstar, something is wrong.
Leo runs from July 21st to August 22nd. It's ruled by the sun, so no surprise, it's a fire sign. It loves the limelight, it loves the attention. The fifth house, which is associated to Leo, is a house of pleasure, art, love, passion. So, no surprise there. Before
we get into the celebs, let's talk about the main Leo traits.
Well, first of all, we all know that Leos love attention. Even if right now, we're gonna dive into all the traits of the Leos and some of them are bad, they still love the attention, even if it's negative attention. They are leaders, they love to express their ideas, they love to lead a protest. They're not ones to just sit in the background or do the footwork. They really need to be front and center when something needs to be done. You can basically count on Leos to be loud AF.
Leos are also super ambitious. They always have a plan. They are always working on things. They know where they want to be and they are going to get there. They're also super independent. They are loyal. They're also super fun to be around. Leos know how to have a good time. The downside, though, is that when this sort of love of attention and ambition becomes centered around the ego, things can get really dark really quickly. Leos are also very set in their ways. They can get really stubborn. As fun as they are, their moods can also sort of turn very quickly, and you definitely do not want to be around a Leo when they are in a bad mood. The claws are out.
All of this description comes from first-hand experience for me because my own mother is a Leo, but I wasn't only raised by my mother, I was raised by our first celebrity, and I think, Tranna, you were raised by her as well.
Our first celebrity is the one and only Madonna, born August 16th.
What are your dreams? What's left?
To rule the world.
To me, Madonna is the quintessential Leo. When I think of Madonna, I think of Leo. When I think of Leo, I think of Madonna. Madonna really invented fame as we know it.
Tonight, an hour with Madonna. If we have to tell you who she is, you have severe problems.
She created the template for the modern day pop star. I feel like everything in our culture has emanated from Madonna.
Madonna has reinvented herself so many times to try to stay current, but also to try to stay front and center. Madonna is not a recluse. She doesn't like to be away from the limelight for too long. And I think one really good example of this, Tranna, is what she did during Pride season this year.
So this past Pride season, Madonna hosted a party at the Boom Boom Room in New York, and she was on the bar, dancing. She wasn't topless, but she was basically just wearing a netted shirt. Her boobs were out. I mean, it's amazing to see this woman at 62 years old still rocking it. But there's this other sort of side of it to me that is like the sort of sad part of the Leo, which is that clinging onto the spotlight no matter what. And at a certain point for the Leo, it doesn't matter if it's good attention or bad attention. I think she represents so many of the best Leo traits. She is a leader. She was one of the first celebrities to really show up for AIDS activism and gay rights. It's easy to forget that because Madonna has become so problematic, and she's also someone who has stolen from different cultures, but I think Madonna has done a lot of good. The problem is that she is so entrenched in her ego that she has her blinders on. She wants to do what she wants to do with no regards to anyone else's feelings. I don't think it's a surprise that Madonna has burned so many bridges.
I think Madonna was inspired by another Leo. Andy Warhol, born August 6th. Yes, Warhol is a Leo, and it makes so much sense. He made a can of soup famous. He made paintings of Elvis Presley and Madonna and so many celebrities. He is the ultimate power celebrity because he mattered to other celebrities in the 60s and 70s and 80s. Tranna, you also know that in the 80s, Madonna met with Warhol. So, this meeting of the Leos to me is the ultimate fame explosion. She was inspired by him and also Marilyn Monroe, who was a major muse to Andy Warhol.
It's so funny because Andy also, as much as he is the inventor of fame and the idea of the 15 minutes of fame, he's also gives off this reclusive, shy vibe that is not always in line with the idea that we have of Leos. But isn't there such thing as the shy Leo?
I think it's an act. I think Andy loved to be at the center of the factory, the arts community that he founded in New York City.
Our next celebrity is a dear friend of mine and also simultaneously my arch nemesis. It is Jennifer Lopez, born July 24th. I think J-Lo really profited from the paradigm of the pop star that Madonna set up, and J-Lo sort of stepped right into it.
So you mean releasing amazing pop music but also terrible movies? Is that what you mean?
Pretty much. Although, J-Lo is a better actress than Madonna, although that's not saying all that much. It's wild to me because I grew up with Jennifer Lopez. I remember when her first single, If You Had My Love, came out. If you had my love and I gave you all my trust. And I was obsessed with her. Here was this gorgeous woman that I wanted to be, and watching that rise to fame. But I never would have thought that 22 years later, J-Lo would be a bona fide legend. That I did not see coming, but to me, the thing that is the most Leo about J-Lo is that tenacity, that ambition. J-Lo did not become a legend by virtue of talent. She became a legend by sheer force of will. But also, J-Lo has created the most unrealistic and unattainable standards of beauty for all of us. There's a really hilarious video of J-Lo getting ready for the Met Gala. It was the year they did camp. And J-Lo literally has a crew of 8 people looking like J-Lo is an 8-person, 12-hour job. The last thing that I will say about J-Lo is that my favorite J-Lo moment is when she was filming this special for MTV and she went to revisit her childhood home. And the man who lives there now is outside on the porch and he sees her with this camera crew and he's like, "Who are you?"
Jennifer Lopez. Who's Jennifer Lopez? Me.
And he has no clue who she is. Of course, Mariah Carey also has no idea who J-Lo is.
I don't know.
And the worst thing that you can do to a Leo is not know who the fuck they are.
Worst insult. Speaking of big dreams and Hollywood dreams, my next pick is probably the most powerful gay Canadian in Hollywood, Dan Levy, born August 9th. Yes, the creator of Schitt's Creek is a Leo. There are so many elements in Dan that makes him a really interesting Leo figure. First of all, when you think of the storyline in Schitt's Creek, so this destitute millionaire family, they lose everything and they have to move to this motel. That is the worst Leo nightmare ever. Leos losing prestige, losing money, losing power is their worst nightmare.
But every now and then I think it's good for the Leos to get a little wake-up call. It's good for things to be shaken up for a Leo. They need to be reminded that they are not the center of the universe, even though the sun is their fucking planet.
Dan, of course, was very hands-on in the production of Schitt's Creek, overseeing everything that Maura, Catherine O'Hara's character, was wearing, but also his own fashion. And I think like creating a character for yourself who is ultimately like a fashion icon, I think is a very bold Leo move. But in the show, I think the most iconic Leo moment for me is when Dan's character, David, is serenaded by his TV boyfriend, Patrick, who literally covers Tina Turner's Simply the Best. So you have a Leo who wrote himself a scene where his TV husband or boyfriend is singing to him one of the best like pop songs of the last 30 years.
You're simply the best, better than all the rest.
You know, Dan could be a nightmare Leo. I don't know how he is in real life, but one thing I really appreciate about him is how he's been using his platform to encourage people to enroll into Indigenous Canada. It's an online course by the University of Alberta to learn more about Indigenous culture in Canada. I think it's a really interesting and important move, and I think more Leos should actually be using their platform like Dan Levy. Wink wink, Jennifer Lopez.
Hey, leave J-Lo alone, okay? She has done plenty of charity that I cannot think of at the moment. So I would also like to take this opportunity to highlight an unsung hero, Michelle Williams. No, not the Michelle Williams from Dawson's Creek. Michelle Williams from Destiny's Child, born July 23rd. Now, I love Michelle. She was always my favorite member of Destiny's Child because I always root for the underdog. And I feel like Michelle as a Leo, poor sweetheart, has had to live in the shadow of Beyonce forever. Imagine being a Leo living in someone else's shadow. It breaks my heart. But I feel like Michelle Williams is finally starting to step into the light a little bit. She was on The Masked Singer. She had an amazing moment on that show. And to me, what makes Michelle Williams a true gay icon is that she had the best part in Survivor.
After all of the darkness and sadness, soon comes happiness.
I love that you think that being on The Masked Singer is stepping into the light where you're literally in a costume and people can't see you. There are so many Leo celebrities, as we've proven today, but it's hard to find a good one. It's hard to find one we can fully 100% get behind. And I think I did find one. Viola Davis, born August 11th. Yes, she is a Leo. The icon, actor, Academy Award winner is a Leo. I think Madonna should maybe pay attention a bit more to how Viola is truly an activist. She is protesting for equality. When she disagrees with something, she makes her voice heard. And she fought in Hollywood to make sure that she would get the same recognition as white actresses. And there's this really iconic interview that she did where she said this.
What they're getting paid, which is half of what a man is getting paid, well, we get probably a tenth of what a Caucasian woman gets. People say, you're a black Meryl Streep. Okay, you pay me what I'm worth.
If you follow Viola, you know she knows she is talented. She knows her worth, but she's also elevating causes and people who are important to her on her platform, and I absolutely love her for that. I think there is a parallel that we can make between her and the one person who I believe is the ultimate queer Leo, and that would be James Baldwin, born August 2nd. Of course, James Baldwin was notoriously honest in his interviews, in his writing.
I don't know what most white people in this country feel. I can only include what they feel from the state of their institutions.
He was a civil rights activist, and he made such a big impact during his time. And I think that Viola and James are really the good Leos. They're about good trouble. They're about fighting for what they believe in. Of course, they love the attention, but they know that because they're so smart and so talented, they can ultimately be the change they want to see in the world. And I think we need a bit more Viola and a little bit less Madonna right now. And before we go, I just want to introduce you to my mom's dog, Juliette. She's been sitting on my lap the whole time. She is probably a Leo because she is really hot, and I'm very sweaty right now.
Thank you all so much for watching. This has been Leo season. Up next is Virgo. We'll see you next month for that. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video if you've enjoyed it. Take the power of Leo, harness it, and use it. We're gonna need it.